research on the Sri Lankan Malays and published this book.
Not at all. I'm not the person to, do that, take that responsibility. Again, Mr. Karim and father, and when they came to meet me, they said the Malay community, they wanted you to address the gathering. I'm sure I am given this opportunity to address this outstanding, professional scholars, not because my outstanding contribution as a history academics from history background, but some little work I have done for the protection of minority communities in this country. I really appreciate giving me this opportunity to address this gathering. It is a great privilege for me to have this opportunity to address this gathering on the occasion of the book launch titled PERSAUDARAAN, meaning Brotherhood, by Mr. Tuan M. Zamir Karim. Thank you, Mr. Karim, for inviting me to share a few words on this great occasion. Perhaps you may expect me to give a scholarly speech on this history of Malay community in Sri Lanka, or perhaps on history of migrations. However, I'm not going to touch those subject areas here. I would like to address you as a Buddhist monk and not as an academic from history background. As a Buddhist monk, my way of understanding the world is strongly shaped by the teaching of the Buddha. So I would like to take this opportunity to share a few words on how the idea of plurality go with the teaching of the Buddha with you. I'm sure most of you may know that Buddhism does not talk about the creator or creation. Instead, it introduces something named as the theory of dependent origination. That is, a result is always created by chain of causes and result. So it is difficult to trace the starting point of anything. Even though one can point out particular one cause for particular one result, Buddhism always encourages us to see the multiple causes that made that result. If everything is result of many causes, and if these causes are extremely diverse, then we cannot expect the result to be uniform. How we can use this teaching to understand our society? This teaching suggests the diversity and the plurality is the nature of the world, and it is not something to be afraid of. I like to point out another teaching, particularly on human race, that comes in Buddhist texts. In a teaching called Vasetta Sutta, Buddha points out that whether there are socially constructed differences among people, there are no such differences biologically. Now, what is the relation these two teachings to do with this occasion of the book launch on Sri Lankan Malay community? Malay community is an integral part of the Sri Lankan nation that made it plural and colorful for many centuries. It is difficult to think of Sri Lankan nation and culture without mentioning the names of T.B. Jaya, Mr. T.B. Jaya, Mr. Akbar, M.T. Akbar, Harun Lanka, T.N. Lak, so many such names that already mentioned by the people who addressed the gathering here. I'm sure Mr. Karim's book, in the book you will have more detailed account with facts on these areas. What I like to point out, it is regrettable to see the diversity or plurality is seen as a threat in our community sometimes. And I encourage more and more we have to highlight the contributions made by diverse minority communities in Sri Lanka to make this nation colorful and beautiful. And I think we have that challenge. It is our responsibility. Thank you very much for honoring me, inviting to address this gathering. Thank you very much, Mr. Karim.
Thank you very much, Venerable Galkande Dhammananda Thero. It is our honor and pleasure and privilege to have you here with us.
Tuan Samir Karim, distinguished guests, Selamat Malam, Subut Sendwak. Thank you very much for the invitation. I must say, I was very much impressed by your story. And I think your commitment and persistence of really hunting me down, getting me here tonight, here I am. I really owe it to you, and I must say it was very difficult to arrange it, but your story convinced me. And I must say, in our embassy we did not know who we were having on the line, or who was, that said, well, it must be somebody, middle-aged person, and it turned out to be you. Young, and already, in your young years you already started your research. You remind me of my own children. And they are interested in a lot of other things, but you really look into your ancestors and all that. So I was impressed, and I changed around my program to be here tonight. And also I feel very honored to be here. And I've only been in Sri Lanka almost a year right now, and I'm still amazed by the cultural heritage that's here. And that's very much alive. And living in the Netherlands, we don't realize, we know about Indonesia, but we don't realize that, not all of us, that we have 150 years in Sri Lanka as well, of a shared cultural heritage. And I think the things that Samir right now is doing, writing about this cultural heritage, about his cultural heritage for his ancestors, is very important. And I think he's done a good job describing the life of the Sri Lankan Malay minority, how they came from the Dutch East Indies, banished by the Dutch to Ceylon during colonial times, helping the Dutch to build the forts that are still here, stand tall on Sri Lankan shores. And I'm very impressed how he gathered the stories. He told me that he went around the world, to find the stories of the people getting already a little bit older. So I think it's really just in time that he recorded all these stories in his book. And I can't wait just to read them, because it was very interesting to hear, about the recipes and all the things that you went into. Just not a very dull historical story, but really into the details. That's not just of interest to you, the Malay Sri Lankans, but I think also to the Dutch and other people. And I think right now it's much more and more difficult for the global population to hold on to former traditions and ethnic lines. And I don't know if this is good or bad, but it's good that at least the stories are told and records are kept. And because of these stories, the language, the traditions, it's all part of our cultural identity, wherever you live, in Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Ukraine, or the Netherlands. And thank you very much again for inviting me. Congratulations. I think you're very well done. Bom estudo. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Madam. There is always an initiation. Zamir, inspired by the work and the knowledge by the guru of our community, Saudara BDK Saldi, sought his first steps into the world of heritage writing. He places much respect to this passionate elder that inspired him to take the challenge and complete his work. Now, for the address, the jewels from a mentor, Saudara BDK Saldi.
Always Muslim, Venerable Galkande Dhammananda Thero, Dr. Sarajo Victor Your Excellency, the Ambassador for the Netherlands, Mr. Hussein Jaya, President of Sri Lanka Malay Association, Mr. Krishna Devendra, Mr. Sunil, Director General of the National Archives, and did I mention Dr. Saroja Vittasigha and all distinguished academics here. Bapa, Ibu, Saudara-saudari, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Since this book is all about the Malays, it is but meet that I should speak in our own language, Sri Lankan Malay. Saudara-saudari yang terhormat, hari ini hari bersejarah, historik. Sebab saudara Zamir meluncurkan satu buku di mana tulis ada dari mana kita sampai nenek moyang datang, sampai silsilah, family tree, kita sampai adat sadat, bahasa, masakan, nyanyian, tanakan, dan lain-lain. Saudara Zamir as medical student, negeri UK ke Arab belajar. Situ perang yang habis terdapat banyak cerewet sejadi. Meskipun itu Melayu atas segitu banyak sayang soal sebab ini bukunya tulis. Orang Melayu Sri Lanka ke atas bertahu kalau beli ini bukunya dan baca. Orang tertahu hal pada ini buku ke ada. Mula pertama, Lamid sedang kami ketemu, dia tunjukin kita siapa buku pe draftnya. Saya itu habis baca, dia bilang, saya atau historian bukan. Saya itu habis baca, dia bilang historian bukan. Sudah saya introducing incanya kisah tu, teman kisah Devendra. Kisah itu bukunya editkan. Saya Melayu pe atas le, kisah sejarah pe atas le, advice dia kasih. Dahulu kita nak boleh membaca le, menulis le bahasa Melayu. Tapi sekarang selupa. Bapak unus saya ini cetak surat alamat Lanka Puri dalam bahasa Melayu. Ini dunia kayak itu juga pertama kali bahasa Melayu surat kabarnya atau ini cetak. Lain ada buku-buku dalam bahasa Melayu kita hampir orang tua pada kau. Sedekali ada 2-3 gitu buku. Saya Forbes and Walker ke pekerjaan ke pekerja, saya pergi Singapore dan Stock Exchange membelajar dan situ saya pergi Indonesian Embassy nang meminta visa Indonesia nang pergi. Ini tahun 1980 ke. Itu waktu simposium dunia Melayu ada jalankan Kala Merdeka. Visa officer bilang, orang Melayu simposium itu adakan tetapi semua hal ada jalankan dalam bahasa Inggris. Itu kapan dengar sedang betul malu. Manakah muka mas bolehkan tertahu. Sudah saya ambil putusan apa yang bekerja atas hal ini. Saya habis retire, saya mulai menulis buku le yang ada bahasa Melayu. Sri Lanka pe government le, surat kabar le, TV le, kita nang orang panggil Muslim kata. Derang Sri Lanka ka yang ada bangsa pe nama orang bilang Sinhala, Demala, Muslim, Burger kata. Muslim habis datang atau agama pe nama. Melayu le boleh atau dengar kumpul. Kita pe agama le, boleh pe agama le sama. Islam jo, tetapi jarang bilang jarang ke moyang pada didatang Saudi Arabia di. Jarang sininya kawin Cina perempuan pada. Itu kalau jarang masih ngomong bahasa Arabia atau bahasa Cina. Tapi jarang ngomong bahasa Bulbar. Kita pe nenek moyangnya datang dari Nusantara. Kita ambil adat istiadat, nyanyian, tadakan, masakan, semua berbeda dari mur. Kita nak bahasa itu ada, tapi dia nang terang. Sudah kenapa kita nang atu nang kumpul? Saudara Zamir tulis ada, bor pada ada bilang, wati lapan dalam masakan kata. Wati lapan kita ada bilang, sini kaya kata. Itu masak apa mau? Santang le gula le. Pohon kelapa manakah ada Arabia ka? Manakah pohon itu ada Arabia ka? Ini sama ada Indonesia ka? Sudah kaya kita ambil makanan. Kenapa ini salah faham, misunderstanding? Boleh Melayu satu kata. Atau bangsa kalau ada, bahasa mesti ada. Kita Melayu culture umum, siapa lain orang pada boleh tahu, kita Melayu kata. Saya seperti foreign tuan pada Malay club nang kapal kaji bawa, jangan kalau tanya, orang Melayu kalau kenapa sama hal dijalankan dalam bahasa Inggris. Sudah, marilah kita umum bahasa Melayu. Kalau tidak umum bahasa, nanti lupa bahasa. Kalau lupa bahasa, nanti hilang bangsa. Bahasa jiwa bangsa. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Saudara BDK Saldi. By now, I'm sure the book holds much interest and curiosity. The book will now be on sale, but to make the first purchase, the SLMA has come forward, and I'm most pleased to I call upon Saudara Hussein Jaya, President SLMA, to make the first purchase of 20.
Our keynote speaker from the Department of History, University of California, Chief Khatib, Maulavi Muzni Amir, our chief guest, Dr. Saroja Wetasinghe, Director, National Archives, our guests of honor, Her Excellency of the Ambassador of Netherlands, Mrs. Joanne Donaward, Mr. W. Sunil, Director General of National Library and Documentation Services Board, honorable diplomats, academics, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. On behalf of Zamir and members of his family, I take privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on this occasion. First and foremost, thank you for all those who have taken time off their busy schedule and sacrificed a lovely Sunday evening to gather for my brother's book launch. We are delighted with such a huge turnout. There are few individuals who have immensely supported Zamir and contributed in numerous ways to make this book launch a success. Mr. BDK Saidin and Kalabhusha Kartini Muhammad and our extended family for all the guidance, patience, responding to all his queries, sharing your knowledge, photographs and all valued treasures which inspired Zamir to compile this book. As you all know by now, this has not been possible if he has not dedicated several years of research throughout his childhood. Mr. Tissa Devendra, thank you for being a wonderful mentor with a wealth of expertise as an author, for embedding the knowledge transfer to Zamir, nurturing him to be a better writer, to make Zamir's dream to be an author a reality. Sir, we are truly honored. Deshabandhu S. Godage, sir, thank you for recognizing young emerging talent, a novice author, and for offering to publish this book not only locally but also internationally. Indeed, it has been a privilege to have worked with a renowned publisher, and we take much pride in it. Thank you, sir. We are grateful to Sri Lanka Malay Association, spearheaded by President Mr. Hussein Jaya, for organizing this event today of this nature. We appreciate all the effort put in as a team, frequent meetings, long tiring nights to ensure that we have a spectacular event. Terima kasih. Please do purchase a copy of this book tonight. Sit back, relax, and do spend some quality time to read through this book. Thank you once again for gracing the inaugural book launch of Zamir Karim. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Zamina. We have now come to the end of the program. Before that, I call upon Maulavi Muzni Amir to recite a dua.
أمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكاف مزيدا واعف عنا يا كريم يا رحيم يا الله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم عليه. اللهم ارحمنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وخطايانا كلها يا رب العالمين. اللهم زينا بزينة الإيمان وشرفنا بشرف القرآن وأكرمنا بكرامات سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. أوصل ثواب فاتحتنا إلى جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين.